Okay, flight simulars, this is your captain speaking, and we're going to be talking in this video about Bushtalk Radio. It's a new application that has just been made available this year, I believe, and basically is a tour guide for your flights. There are several components to Bushtalk Radio, and very easy to set up. If you come to bushtalkradio.com, you'll see what I'm seeing right now. There is a menu entry here for getting started that takes you over to the GitHub site, and there is a description for how to get Bushtalk Radio up and running on your machine. There are three components, as I mentioned. One is the website that you're looking at. And then there is a download client that you can, install on your machine, which is a plug-in for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and enables Microsoft Flight Simulator to talk to the website. There's also some landmarks that you can download and install that into Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that will make all of these landmarks visible within Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is an optional component, but you'll probably want to install that as well. In addition to these three components, you'll want to register at Bushtalk Radio. Click on the register button. Ask you for your username, your email address, and a password. The email address must be an existing address. They will send you an email, and you will confirm the address by clicking on the link that's provided there. Then once you want to when you're ready to use Bushtalk Radio, you'll just come into Bushtalk Radio, click on Login, type your username and your password in the website, and that gets us to where we're at right now. Within Microsoft Flight Simulator, we will log in once again to connect Microsoft Flight Simulator to the website, so that the website will know who you are. Within the map, the locations, the sites that are available to see there are a lot of them, as you can tell right here. Each one of these circles represents multiple sites, and the number within the circle tells you how many sites are there. For example, if I click on this one, if I look at this one, there are 37 sites under this one particular button. If I click on that, then they were expanded out further to where you can see more accurately where these sites are at. Down here near Houston, there is another button here with number 3 on it. So that indicates that there are 3 sites under that. One, the Colorado River, and then Space Center Houston, and Houston Chip Channel. I've never heard the Houston Chip Channel descriptions, so I think that's the one that I'm interested in at this time. So if I click on that, there'll be a pop-up that shows up within the web site that tells me how to get to this location, and it suggests parking or departing KT-41 and head out at 53 degrees for 4 nautical miles. Now, one of the things that you'll notice frequently is that these airport indicators are not found exactly like this within Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm not sure what all of the reasons are, but sometimes Microsoft Flight Simulator will simply have a 3-letter designation instead of a 4-letter designation here. And in this case, Microsoft Flight Simulator knows about T41, but not KT41. So that's the airport that I would want to spawn into. So let's go into Microsoft Flight Simulator and find KT-41. I think that should be pretty easy since I've been there. That was the last place I was at. But you can go in here and type in T41, and there it is in my history. And that will take you there. And I'm going to select this parking space as my departure point. And so this will be the start of our flight. I'll go into flight conditions. I'm going to select clear skies. Daytime is not too important, but you obviously want daytime so you can see what you're looking at. And then click fly. It'll take just a moment for us to get into the cockpit. And so here we are in LaPorte, Texas, near Houston at KT-41. Going to go ahead and get into the cockpit. Come up here, make sure that manage radio is turned off. We're going to use a checklist to get started here. And this will only take for us a moment or so.
Parking brake. Set. Fuel selector. Fullest tank. Master switch.
Turn on master switches.
On. Avionics master switch. On. NAV and strobe lights. On. Choke. On. Throttle. One centimeter.
All right, now go to starting engine.
Magnetos.
Set magnetos to both.
Both. Start.
And
Turnkey. Throttle.
we want our throttle to be at about 20.
Maintain 2,500 RPM or below. Oil pressure. Check.
All right. And one more checklist.
Choke.
Turn the choke off.
Parking brake.
And parking brake off.
Release.
Now we can let our our co-pilot help us with the radio. And first thing we want to do is push back.
Requesting pushback from ground services.
That should be good enough. Stop pushback.
Contacting ground control for pushback.
We're using voice attack for some of the UI here. Makes things a little bit easier. And let's open up our ATC and announce our taxi.
Tango 41 traffic, and 72781 is taxiing to runway 30.
Runway 30 is going to be right off to our right. So let's find our way there. Like our new big taxiway signs now since the last Microsoft update. I'm not sure how many sites are included with Bushtalk Radio, but there are a lot. And if there is a site that's not included, you can add it to the site. Down in the bottom right corner of the web page, there is a button there to press that will open up a new menu where you can select an option to add to the sites that are found in Bushtalk Radio. I'm aware of a few places around the city of Houston that I want to add. We'll be doing that sometime pretty soon. I'm sure there's probably a review process to make sure that the new sites are up to standard. So you may not be able to put one in there immediately, but at least you can submit one, and that would be, if you do a well enough job, that would probably show up within several days, if not hours. So here we are at runway 30.
Tango 41 traffic, and 7278 1 taking off runway 30 straight out departure.
And so there goes our co-pilot helping us out. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here and make sure that my autopilot's set up the way I want it to be set up. Let's see. Course, altitude. We'll set the altitude to 1500. And we'll use IAS mode. And set the selected speed to about 68K. Here we go. Kind of rough takeoff there.
Houston approach, and 72781 is type Fitistral, Pivi 1 miles northwest of Tango 41600 feet. Request clearance to transition, Bravo airspace. N72781 Houston approach. Squawk 5173.
I'm not sure how to turn off the marker indicators on this
and
in this machine. I just have to wait for them to quit.
N72781 radar contact 2 miles northwest of Tango 411,300 feet. Cleared through the Bravo airspace.
And I think we said that we needed to go to about 51
Cleared through the
degrees.
Bravo airspace, N72781.
Now I'll come back to Bushtalk Radio website and see what we've got going here. This button will cause it to center, cause the website to center on the aircraft. And I'll zoom out a little bit so we can see where we're at. We actually need to turn about 90 degrees to get where we're going. Actually, you can see the ship channel. You can see the San Jacinto Monument over here on the left. Lots of the petroleum refineries in the area. And in a moment, when we get close to the site location that configured within Bushtalk Radio, we'll be able to hear the description that it gives.
The Houston Ship Channel, in Houston, Texas, is part of the Port of Houston, one of the busiest seaports in the world. The channel is the conduit for ocean-going vessels between Houston area terminals and the Gulf of Mexico, and it serves an increasing volume of inland barge traffic.
N72781 contact Houston approach on 121.3.
There you go, Simmers.
121.3 N72781. Houston approach N72781 1,500 feet.
There you go, Simmers. That's the
N72781 Houston approach continuous plan.
Bushtalk Radio.
Altimeter 29.9
This description was kind of short. The descriptions will be sometimes just a minute long, sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes maybe even a little bit longer than that. So it just depends upon what the author wrote for the site and so on. So go to bushtalkradio.com and download the client and try it out. I think that you'll be impressed. Thanks for viewing, and we'll talk to you again later.